The Great Depression, some people have called it one of the worst times in history. It saw many people losing their jobs. With the loss of jobs came the loss of homes. The people who did have jobs weren't making much. The railways weren't much better. Some engines would be overdue for maintenance, and some railways would face coal shortages. The Rosworth Vale wasn't spared. Engines like Alec, Aberdeen, and Allen were kept in the sheds. This had become the topic of conversation one night at the sheds.
I'm sick of being stuck in this shed.
I know, your complaining is unbearable.
Oi!
I'm sick of working the yard alone, it's tiring.
I know, but you lot'll just have to grin and bear it.
And we've been doing that for about 3 weeks now. And unfortunately, I have some very bad news. Basil's gonna become station pilot? No, I've just come back from the quarry and the workers there are on strike. But that's our biggest source of revenue. I know, I was rather upset to hear it myself when I got there. Well, that's just great. Anyways, we'd best get some sleep.
Now that sounds like a good idea.
The engines had fallen asleep, but when John woke up, he'd smelt a burning smell. He knew what that was. A fire had started burning on the mansion near the railway line.
Oi, guys, look at that fire!
Wait, what? Oh dear, that's not good at all. I hope everyone's okay. The people had gotten out okay, but the mansion had burned to the ground, and to add to this, the repairs were not cheap. Unfortunately, things would start to take a turn for the worse with Simon. At the station, he and Justin were talking about the previous night's events. Really? Are you serious? Yeah, apparently they weren't careful, and then the fire just started. Just goes to show candles and oil don't mix. Yeah, you're right. Anyways, let's change the subject. Are you sure you can take that train? I mean, you haven't sounded pretty good throughout the whole morning. Yeah, I'll be fine. If you say so. Simon departed with his passenger train. However, he wasn't feeling well as he did so. Just then, Simon didn't feel well, and his gauge glass broke. His driver shouted out in pain. Simon's fireman leaned out the cab. Simon, I'm applying the brakes. Simon, are you listening to me? Just then, a noise was heard from Simon's boiler. Simon didn't respond. Fortunately, Simon's driver stopped the train and brought it to a halt. Thankfully, Penn had been nearby. He was able to take the train the rest of the way. Meanwhile, Justin had to take Simon to the works. At the works, Mr. Lance was talking to one of the workmen. "So, how bad is it?" "Well, his gauge glass has been broken, but to add to that, he's going to need a full repair on his boiler." "And tell me, how much will that cost?" "You don't want to know." Just then, John rolled up to the workshops. He had some very interesting news. "John, what are you doing here?" "Sir, do you remember that lumber contract you were telling me about? Well, Basil was mentioning it today, and apparently it's supposed to bring in quite a bit of profit for the railway." "Oh yeah, but that's the money I was going to use to pay for Alec, Aberdeen and Allen's repairs. I already spoke to them, and they said go ahead with this." "Well then, I'll have Bradford on this job since he's one of my best freight engines." The next day, the lumber contract was ready. Bradford was to pull the train. He had arrived at the lumber yard. However, Basil was in a very bad mood. "Alright, Basil, thank you for arranging this train." Yeah, whatever, just take your train and get out." "Why are you in a bad mood?" "Because of all the rain that's been falling over here. I mean, I've practically drowned in the rain. Honestly, I think Simon could just say he can get scrapped and we'll see what happens." "No, just get out of here." Soon, Bradford was prepared to leave. He set off with the train. It was long and heavy. He wasn't used to this length, but knew it was for a good cause. arrived at the docks on time. However, he was very tired after taking such a long and heavy train. He returned to Lowfell Sheds later and was exhausted from the work he had done. Hello there. Sir, please don't do that. I wanted to congratulate you for your efforts. You did very well taking that train. We also now have enough money to pay for Simon's repairs. No problem, sir. However, am I clear to rest here? Yes, indeed, Bradford. You've worked very hard. Mr. Lance walked away, and Bradford had started falling asleep, feeling very glad he was able to help out the Rosworth Vale.